Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another Keller Williams Realty Technologies presentation. We are so happy to have you all with us today. We do have a special guest on our call today, and we're going to introduce him here in just a moment. Our topic of discussion is smart homes, what you need to know, and the objective of today's call is to give you another subject matter that you can write about, that you can be an expert on. This is another industry expert opportunity for you, and you're going to learn this information from the KW research team. All right, I'd like to welcome to the call Adi Pavlovic. Is that correct, Adi?
Pavlovic, yes.
Pavlovic, thank you very much. Senior Technology Research Analyst with Keller Williams. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Awesome. So here's what we have on our agenda, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be talking to Adi and the research team about what a smart home is. We're going to help identify a smart home, and then helping agents identify or even establish a smart home designation for a seller. And then, of course, how can buyer's agents help a client understand the benefits, maybe even some risks of smart home technology. And then the last question is, how can I share my smart home expertise? And I'm going to take over from there, give you all some opportunities, some ideas that you can use in your KW website, on your blogs, and really share your industry expertise. So I guess the first question that I had when I started this, Adi, is what is a smart home?
Yeah, and so I just did a presentation on this topic at MegaCamp, so that we have some super relevant research, but essentially defines a smart home is it's a home equipped with lighting, heating, and electronic devices that can be controlled remotely by phone or computer. So I have some reiterations of that definition. First of all, you remove computer, right? If you can't control it with a mobile app, then it's not really a smart home product after all, and majority of them abide by those rules. And then other than lighting, heating, and electronic devices, we kind of, for our presentation, our research purposes, throw in security and family management or entertainment. That's been one of the fastest growing sectors within smart home, is these products that allow you to kind of keep a video camera in your house or get notified when a family member leaves or enters your home. And so we kind of identify that as more like family management, or the Amazon Echo, which is more of an entertainment piece. It connects with a bunch of different devices, and you can play music, ask questions, things like that.
Okay, smart homes have been around for a while, is that right?
Yeah, it's funny. I've been actually studying this space even before I worked at Keller Williams.
Okay.
I spent 3 years studying home security.
I remember you telling me that,
which
yeah.
naturally evolved into smart home because all the security companies got into the space. And so it's been around for about a decade, about 10 years. And the market's definitely anticipated more adoption than it's received. It's been a slow, gradual buildup, and there's a couple of reasons for that, but mostly cost and consumer education, which is what we're here to talk about today.
Okay, and if we're looking at a home that has smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors, a keypad, and so forth, is that define it as a smart home, or does it go a little bit deeper than that?
It goes a little bit deeper than that,
Okay.
right? So the reason it started with home security is because a large portion of homeowners, about I think 1 out of 4, have home security products, and they're all integrated, and it's a motion sensor and a control panel. And it was like, what better way to integrate new products than add it to your security? But what consumers really wanted was kind of the cooler features, things that saved on energy and lighting or allowed them to control and talk to their families. And so those are the products that have really taken off.
Okay.
And the control panel that used to be, what would dictate or kind of you can organize your home security system around has become your phone or tablet. And so now people just integrate their products to that. They use Wi-Fi for it, and then they'll have 3G as backup in case the Wi-Fi goes down. Obviously, you don't want your security or your smart home devices to go down, so they'll use 3G or 4G networks to work.
Wow, so what I hear you saying is the keypad is so 2015.
Yeah, the keypad.
Right, just
They don't sell a lot of those.
You don't even sell a lot of
No,
those.
it's a tablet or mobile phone app.
Yeah, okay, that's great. So the reason I asked that is because as agents, we always want to have the information that we need. We always want to have the right answers. And if someone is potentially selling a home, they're going to come to an expert and they ask us, what is a smart home, or is my home smart because it has these things? It's a lot deeper than just having wired security.
Yeah. If anything, one, it should be wireless. Would even just allow it to dictate to be identified smart, because the challenge of smart is has to be integrated for it to be intelligent, right? So for it to know that you left the house at a certain time and it'll turn off the lights for you, forgot to turn them off. It has to know a couple of things. A, that you left the house, which your smart lock or motion sensor can detect,
Wow.
but your lighting cannot, right? And to keep costs down, it makes more sense for them to talk to each other than having each product do everything. And so to have a smart home, you need to have some wireless devices that communicate to each other. It's a challenge. And so when we talk to, as a research team, when we talk to agents about being subject matter experts, there's one thing you have to understand about smart homes is that they don't all talk to each other. You would think that would make sense. Every smart home product talks to each other. There's some challenges to that. And without getting too technical, the challenge is language, right? They all speak different languages. And there's a couple of standards out there, and I'm not going to dive too deep into the technical details, but essentially what you have to understand is they have to be on the same protocol to be integrated, meaning they have to speak the same language. There's a couple of big languages out there, but it's not as easy as you go to the store, buy a couple of smart home products, take them home, they're going to talk to each other. You have to do a little bit of research beforehand. And so what we call protocols in the industry is really what is a language between devices that you should be aware that when you buy products from a smart home, they should all speak on the same language or same example being Zigbee or Z-Wave are the two most popular product languages.
Zigbee, and I've seen those names in my research as well, and and that's a protocol. So I think this answers the question. One way seller agents can help establish smart home designation is it needs to be wireless. That's one thing for sure. They should all speak the same language.
Correct.
Okay, and then I'll follow up with some of those products or the protocols
we've even told agents, you know what? No one really cares about the details about the protocols.
Is that
you
right?
just need to know that there is
one
protocol.
So when you're buying products, are you looking at those protocols? I guess is my question. Or when you're looking at their products.
Yeah, and you should. And that's been the challenge for the smart home industries. They haven't educated consumers on what those protocols are. Right? We expect them to speak on the same language, and it's honestly, it creates a little bit of friction when they don't, and that's on their part, not us. So when I tell agents about smart homes, I tell them don't focus on the different protocols, just know that it exists, and that's the reason sometimes they don't work together.
Excellent. All right, so tell us some of the benefits and the risks. I understand that one of the reasons that people are a little bit avoid smart home technology is because of security. Is that changing, or what's the thought on that?
No, yeah. So the reason home security companies have done such a great job of selling smart home products is because they still offer traditional, wired home security, and then you can add on some of these wireless functionalities. People are a little skeptical to trust some of these new devices with, security of your home, depending on what neighborhood you're in, etc. And so that is something people are concerned about, and as they should be, because of this lack of direction of which language to pick. It creates some vulnerabilities in these products. And so one of the main barriers for adoption is actually how hackable these things are because they relied on the Wi-Fi singles. So it's definitely been a barrier to adoption. I'd say that's one of them. But honestly, the largest one's always been cost. I'm buying a product that I haven't bought before in the past, and I'm paying a little bit more than I would have in the past. And how much value does that present to me?
Okay.
And that's why the two products we're seeing adopted most frequently are the ones that actually provide cost value, such as the smart thermostats.
And Nest.
Like a Nest is the top-selling smart thermostat. Mm-hmm. Honeywell has a good one too. And lighting controls.
Okay.
And so we did the research, and we found out a smart thermostat can save about $130 to $145 per year on energy savings.
Wow. And
smart lighting can save $50 to $105 annually. So both of these products, within the first year or the second year, pay themselves off, which it makes a lot of sense as a consumer.
Right.
Okay, I can increase the efficiency and kind of the ease of use of my thermostat, and it won't actually cost me very much money. And so there is a little bit of ROI, and that's why those are the two products that are most commonly adopted among smart homeowners.
And that's another great thing for a seller's agent to know and to remember. That would be a great value proposition of that particular property, because they could say that they have a energy saving thermostat, and a lot of times that gets people excited when they see those I personally get excited when
Yeah,
I see
no,
these fun gadgets that are in the house. And,
research will agree with you. Yeah,
right?
those two things are not expensive, pretty easy to install, and consumers enjoy them. So that's why they're doing well.
Okay, so again, that might be something that a seller's agent could talk to a seller about. If we do a small investment in a Nest, it brings in a whole different maybe attitude of buyers, and maybe even a different class of buyers that just kind of calls to them when they see things like that that are upgraded.
When you do tell it to your seller, they're going to say, okay, what else can I integrate with it? And so then you have to know, well, Nest speaks on their own protocol. They're actually not Z-Wave or Zigbee.
Right.
They're on their own proprietary Google protocol. And so then it's like, okay, how am I supposed to keep track of all this? Well, if you go on Google Nest, they show you all the products they integrate with. And you should just be aware of those, just to kind of presume what your consumer might ask you.
And you throw out the word Zigbee and protocol, and they're just going to think you are an expert in all of it.
Yeah, those two. Yeah, you just Google search those two real quick, and you'll definitely be way ahead of the game.
And then they're going to hand you their printer and have you fix that as well.
Exactly.
So that's another risk of knowing all about that.
Indeed.
So that's all great, and obviously you all are doing a lot of research.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently that's what you all do all day, and have shared with us a tremendous amount of expertise. What else? Is there anything in the very near future that you guys are really excited about sharing with us that you can share to this group?
Yeah, some products we're seeing catch a lot of traction is smart locks and doorbells.
Okay.
And so smart locks makes a lot of sense, right? When you talk about going to a home and seeing the cool gadgets, the first kind of experience you have with a home is opening the door. And so there is one smart lock in particular, a company called August, that I think works with the National Association of Realtors. And they've just been doing really, really well selling these smart locks where not only can you unlock it with your phone, right, you have credentials to do so, but you can give access to other people just through your mobile app. So if you have someone come to clean your home or do some kind of inspection or some kind of work,
right,
you can give them access and know not only when they enter the home, but when they left. And you can integrate with a camera, so you can activate the camera when they walk into the home. You can see what they're doing or who's in front of the door of your home, and then just get notifications when they enter, when they leave. It makes a lot of sense. The cost is coming down. Cost has been always a big barrier. Obviously, security for this one, and so we're seeing a lot of traction there. And I think it's very interesting for the real estate space. Not only what it can do when you own the home, but when you put the home up for market.
Absolutely. Take my money now. Seriously, that's what I'm going to go Google pretty quickly.
Yeah, it's a cool technology. We're seeing that one, and then the category I mentioned, family management. We've seen some products that put a motion sensor and a camera together. One product we suggested a couple of products that agents should look at, do a little bit more research because they're getting traction in the industry. But it's called like a canary camera, and it's I think they're about $200, and it comes with, it's just a tall cylinder about a foot tall, and it has a camera on it, has a motion sensor, has a smoke detector, detects basically the pollution within your home. And then I have one actually next to my desk. I play a trick on our staff economist Ruben that I sit next to, is you can see what's happening on your camera, and you can activate an alarm. And so when I'm not in the office and I see he's next to my desk, I'll just activate it. And then he downloaded the app as well, and now he has access to it, and he does the same thing to me. So that game got pretty old pretty quick. But that's one of those, people use it less so for security, but more so family management, knowing when their kids get home from school, and just seeing what their kids are up to, and just kind of keeping an eye on what's happening in your home while you're away.
I know what desk I'll be stalking when you're on PTO.
Yeah, be careful. I'll know.
That's a lot of fun. All right, awesome. So speaking of sharing our expertise, so what I'd like to do now, and thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big hand. Let's give Audie a big hand for providing us all that great information. That's really, really good stuff. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to show you all how you can now take some of this information that we shared, and I will get some resources available, and I'll send you all what we can for the from the PowerPoints and some of the research that Audie and his team have done. For now, I'd like to bring in mykw.kw.com, and we're going to share some of the information that Audie provided with us on our website so that we can share it with our sphere, and we could even maybe gain some SEO, some search engine optimization on the keywords of smart home if we are continuing to add valuable information about it. So here's where we're going to start. Naturally, we're on mykw.kw.com, and you can hover over the technology menu and choose KW websites. That will take you to the page we're on now. Now from here, we're going to go into the KW website powered by Playster, and this is our this is a live site, and we are actually adding this content today. So this is going to be live content that we're actually going to use in our blog. So in order to get to your blog page, we're going to click on View Details, and we're going to take some of the information that we heard and that we've collected through our own research, and then using some graphics that we have access to. And again, I'll see what I can get available to you. But we're going to start here on the site settings page under blog posts. So if I go into blog posts, just like every good cooking show, we already have the souffle already done in the oven. So right now a little while ago, we created a blog called Is Your Home a Smart Home? And you'll notice we're using those specific keywords in case someone asks the question, is my home a smart home? That is going to help us to capture those keywords. So we're going to click on that. Now where we start is the title. So one way that the KW website is going to help us with SEO is anything we put into the title shows up in the slug, and this slug is what's crawlable by search engines. Now I'm going to start with the content, and the content we just created some really quick text to start this as an example, and we're going to say, hey, just in case you didn't know, and we're going to define a smart home. We can find a smart home definition just about anywhere simply by Googling it. And then we're going to put on there, this can be a great value proposition for you as a seller. Now we can add some additional information. We can put in there how we're knowledgeable about the most popular smart home technologies, those things that define a smart home, maybe even mention that smart homes do have specific protocols, and perhaps even do your own research on those protocols. What you are doing is you're, one, showing people that you're the local expert. Two, you are capturing a lot of keywords that not every realtor is going to be focusing on. This is something that is a little bit out of the box, but it is information that's being provided to you by KW Research. So now you'll notice we can fill in all of this information in the middle with great text, great information, and I'm going to go ahead and include a call to action form here. So what we did here is we highlighted the contact me today for a smart home evaluation. Once again, we are trying to drive people back to us. This is a great call to action, and this call to action is, I'm going to give you a smart home evaluation. I'm going to go into your home. I'm going to tell you whether or not your home is currently considered a smart home, and if it's not, some things that you can do to add to it to make it a smart home. And on what you're doing with that is you're adding value to your home. And adding value to your home means that you can maybe get a little bit more for it if you decide to put it for sale. Naturally, you're going to speak to me if you do decide to do that. So we highlighted this area right here, and we clicked on the hyperlink button, and then naturally we linked it directly to our About Me page on our Dream Key Team site. And then you can put any text you want in there. We always like to have a link open in a new tab. That way they have several of our tabs open if they're on our site, opening several of the tabs. Now what we could also do is we can add a featured image. So we have access to this featured image that is available to us, and as I mentioned, we'll try to get you all this as well. We'll try to get you as much details as I can. And then what we did is we copied just a snippet of this image, and we're using that as our file. Now here we're going to put in our meta title, and of course your meta title is what is going to be listed as is the title that people will see if they're Googling is my home a smart home, for example. If we are able to put enough information that we show up on page 1 or page 2, this is the title that they're going to see up there. and then of course we're going to add the description. These are not as powerful as they used to be as far as SEO goes, but you certainly do want to add very good information in here. Use great keywords so it is obvious to the visitor what page that they're on. Then we're going to save the page. Once the page is saved, now we can actually go and visit that site. And let's take a quick preview of that particular page. And it's going to live in our blog. And then here it is. This is the post. You'll notice it'll take any graphic that you add and it makes it your banner. Anything that you find in the KW blog on kw.com, you can use those graphics if you're able to save them. We simply snipped this one using the snippet tool, but you do have access to all the graphics that we provide here at KW. Okay, so here is our post. Now we're going to add more information here in the very near future, but we wanted to just do a quick example of what this looks like. And then, of course, when you click Contact Me Today for a smart home evaluation, it takes you to the Get in Touch with Me form. All right, so your action today, after today's call, is to visit your blog post or even create an individual page regarding the smart homes. And we will send you a follow-up email shortly after today's call with some additional information and resources for you to use in your smart home posts. Please let us know if you have any questions or comments. All right, now's a great time to ask any questions. Tell us what are your ahas and what's the one thing you're going to do that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. All right, great question came in. Hey, can we copy the blog that you just posted? So, Gail, you can. However, it's going to be considered duplicate content, and you don't want to use duplicate content. Now, what you can always do is you can rewrite it on your own. Just making sure all of the words in the flow is not exactly the same. But if you think about it, all research is getting information from other places and then putting it into your own words. And that's totally acceptable, and that's how most blogs are written, and that's a great thing as long as you're putting it in your own words and you're directing it to your own local community or your sphere. How do you get to the blog post? After clicking on the website link. I will show you that. I guess the question is, if I'm live, how do I get to the blog post? So there's a couple of things you would do. Let me show you my page here in just a moment. So you'll notice the Dream Key blog is listed here as a main menu item. You have limited room as to how many menu items that you can display. Okay, so this is an example of all of the menu items. You will notice that these are parent items, so these are the main items, and underneath are child menu items. So you can move any of these and make them either a parent or a child. Anything that's listed as a parent out here is what's going to show up on your menu bar. And again, you don't want to have too much on your, you don't want to have too much on your menu bar. Heather has a great suggestion and a great comment, I should say. Great reminder that blogging doesn't have to be all time consuming and perfect. You're exactly right. You can do this or hire a college or high school student. Yes, that is right. Anybody can help you to blog. In my opinion, I would not recommend hiring a professional blogger, and that's because chances are pretty good they're writing the exact same content for someone else. So hire your own blogger. Doesn't cost a lot, and it's a great resource. So Allison asked, do we have to have a license to the images kw.com uses on their blogs? No. If you find an image on kw.com, you can use those images, Allison. Great question. That's where I get a lot of my images as well. What are the questions you all have? All right, doesn't look like we have any other questions coming in. We want to thank you all for being a part of today's presentation. And as always, don't forget to stay on the edge of real estate technology by using KW Technology. Hope you all are making it a great day at Keller Williams. Bye-bye.